You aren't going to believe this. I have two 17-pound briskets, 8 10-pound pork butts, just over 100 pounds of meat. I'm going to prepare for a graduation party at this time, 5:30 on a Thursday night, for a graduation party that's going to take place at 6 o'clock on Friday. Now, the reason why I've decided to cook my own meat is obviously I like to do things myself, as you know. But most importantly, I've got about $275 worth of meat I'm getting ready to put on this Yoder Wichita. That same amount of meat would have cost me thousands, probably a couple thousand, 2,500, maybe throw a side of beans in there too for 2,500. But roughly I'm doing it for a fraction of the cost. And honestly, I think I can do a better job than most people anyways, especially when it comes to catering. It's never that great. So like I said, I got the Yoder Wichita fired up now. Took me a while. I totally forgot about fire starter blocks, so I had to start this the old-fashioned way. I used some brisket paper from my last brisket cook. It worked pretty good, so I have since ordered the starter blocks, a little easier to get going. But for the most part, it did the job, and I'm ready to go. Now, I got just over 100 pounds of meat going on this thing, about 110 or so. I'm expecting, well, we had 80 RSVPs on Facebook. I'm expecting at least 1.5 per RSVP. So that gives me about 120 to 150 people I can expect. I don't want to run out either, so I'm doing a little bit more than I think I need, but we'll find out when the party gets here, right? So let's start prepping the briskets. I have two briskets from Costco. They're Prime, USD Prime. They are not choice that you buy at Walmart or anywhere else. These are phenomenal briskets for the price. They were about $70 a piece. I think they're coming in about 17 pounds. So I think $4.99 a pound, or no, $3.99 a pound is what they were. Now, I love brisket. It's probably my favorite piece of meat outside of just regular steak. But the prep time on briskets is really long, and the cook time's just as long. So, well, it's a lot longer actually. But for the most part, it takes a while to trim these briskets. I'm not gonna get into too many details about how to trim a brisket, because there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that show you how to do that. Pretty good, that's how I learned. But there's a lot of fat on here. You can expect to lose probably about a quarter of the weight from the fat you take off. Now the fat, you can make beef tallow if you just melt it down, which I've done in the past. But you're also gonna lose another quarter of the weight by cooking it in juices and fat renderings and all that good stuff. So for the most part, you know, if you figure you got two 17-pounders, you know, 34 pounds worth of meat, you could figure I'm probably only gonna get about 20 pounds, maybe a little less of that. And the nice thing about that is what you're looking at is the scraps. When you trim all the fat off, you save the scraps for a later date and time. So I'm at halftime of the prep. I've got the two briskets done. I figure I'd go ahead and whip out a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a cheap wine you can buy at Walmart. Give it a shot if you like a dark, dry red. So let's talk pork butts. Pretty simple, very forgiving piece of meat. Great for an amateur smoker or griller when you want to do a large piece of meat. It's really, really forgiving, and it tastes phenomenal. Real simple. Don't trim a whole lot of fat off these. I crisscross the fat cap, which is the white part of the pork butt. The reason why I do that is for seasoning to penetrate, and I also do it so the fat will actually crisp up and be very desirable at the end of the cook. Now, just like the brisket and the pork butts, I'm just seasoning with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's it, SPG. That's all it needs. Don't overthink it, don't overdo it. It's not worth it. These things take no time at all. Here they are all seasoned up. I already threw the briskets on. They've been going on for about 2 hours. So I gave them a head start. So these are heading on real soon. Okay, here we go. Rain has moved in for a little while. We got about maybe a 2-hour rain delay if that. Not long. I had to scoot the grill inside the garage. Now remember, I'm doing this smoke for a graduation party. We're hosting 125 to 150. I've got the two briskets on right now. We'll take a peek at them, see what they look like. They're on the top rack I just put some firewood on, running pretty good temps. Let's see what they look like. All right, here they go. Now, a little worried about this guy. Fire's coming from here, so I'm getting most of my heat right through here. Now that heat's traveling down and around, but I'm worried about this point right here getting a little crispy. It's pretty firm already, which is kind of fast. I know it's hard to see in the darkness. Kind of fast right now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch those two around. I'm gonna move him to the back, move him to the front, and then I'm gonna add the 8 pork butts down below here. So this is a mega cook right here. This is not a rookie thing here. I got about $300, 250 bucks. The briskets were 70 bucks each, 140 on the top rack, and then the pork butts were about $30 a crack. So you're looking at another 120. So you know you got about $260, $70 on the rack here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down and show you what I'm gonna do here, and let's just see where this goes. It's risky. My wife just asked me if I ever cooked this much meat before. I was like, no, I've never come close to that. So this ought to be interesting. So it's gonna be a long night. I'm ready. Got some wine in me. Beautiful night actually, even though it's raining. But we're gonna go with the roll. Let's go. I want to mention that the $30 for the pork butts, that's a 2-pack of pork butts at Costco. Both the pork butts and the briskets both came from Costco. Good deals on that stuff. So I did have to trim down a little bit of the point on the briskets to make them fit on the top rack of the Yoder. It's really narrow up there. It's actually a great location to put ribs. So my buddy Dave mentioned that I don't think you can get those to fit up there. They actually fit pretty good, and they end up getting a ton of smoke up there. So it's a win-win if you can get them up there. These aren't the biggest briskets in the world. 17 pounds isn't a huge brisket. I've seen them like 23, 24 pounds, but they're really fit like a glove up there, and as the cook goes on, you'll see they start shrinking quite a bit. You can see they take up the entire rack right now. At the end, they take up maybe half of it. Trying to get all these pork butts loaded up. I plan on doing a rotation with these, so the ones closest to the fire will go to the back, and then I just move everything up at the spot. I'll also move from front to back, so as I rotate them, I'll move them from the front to the back of the grill, and then back to the front, and back and forth. So just to kind of spread out the temperature on each one of these pork butts. There's 8 of them, so it's going to be a challenge. Okay, here we go. It's about 10:30. The pork butts have been on for about an hour. The brisket's been on about 3 hours. Got those briskets on about 7:30. So pork butts gave them they gave the brisket a 2-hour head start. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and rotate the meat. Be a long haul for the fact I have to do this all night long. Briskets are looking pretty good actually already. They're gonna get a lot of smoke up top there. I think the bark's gonna be decent. I guess I'll move those first. Kind of a pain since I got pork butts now, so let's see how I'm gonna do this here. I have to put one on top of the other to make this work. Tastes good. Pretty firm still. All right, briskets are switched. Now I gotta play musical chairs with the pork butts. First pork butts here. This is gonna be difficult. Here's the second one. All right, let's see how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go get a tray real quick. Okay, I'm back with the tray. Let's move these first 2 pork butts. Well, they are getting brisket juice on them. What can that hurt, you know? All right, here we go. That one's still pretty cold. All right, so we'll move this guy up here. Grab this guy in the back here. These guys all up. Take your turn. And one day I'm gonna get messy doing this shit. Guys back here are still pretty cool for being on for an hour. Should be interesting to see how this works out here. All right. These ones that were in the front are definitely warmer. Put you back here. Put you back here. There we go. All right, everybody's rotated. Take that thermometer and see where that's at. Fall out. Yeah, here it is. hard to put a thermometer in after the fact. We'll just try it. All right. Let's take a look at this fire. It's probably down. Definitely down. Still holding 250 though. It won't take long. Cherry oak all night long. This shouldn't take long to light up here. Tell you one thing, the smoker definitely puts off more smoke with more meat. Maybe that's that fat drippings hitting the hot plate down below or something. But I've noticed the smokestack definitely is putting out more smoke. It's a clean smoke. It's a almost bluish white smoke, so it's not a dirty smoke. Surprised how long it's taken for this to light up here. It should be lighting up here real soon. But for the most part, that smoke looks good. It smells good. I'm spending the night in the garage tonight, so I'll be smelling it all night long. Okay, there's the fire. It's starting now. We'll let it get a good head start, and then we'll shut the lid down, let it do its thing. And we'll also put a couple more pieces on top of the firebox. I've got the tractor in the garage with the bucket of wood in it. It was the wood that was in the garage, but because I'm having a party, I had to move stuff out. Now I may need to open up the air hatch a little bit to give it some more air. Let's do that. I think we'll be fine. Trying to give this meat a little bit more smoke. In the past smokings, it's like good taste, but I feel like I can get more out of it. So I'm gonna try and push the limits a little bit, get a little bit more smoke than normal. Let's see what this turns out. So 10:30, just did the rotation. We'll check back in about an hour, see where we're at. Here we go, 11:40. Another check here. About an hour here, so it's running pretty good. Let's see what she's doing here. All right. Briskets look great. Got some good. I'll spray those. Everything looks really good color-wise. Let's. I'm gonna leave the briskets as is. Let's go ahead and move these pork butts. Big pork butt there, boy. Where you can feel the heat. You can feel the briskets coming down on that pork butt. These pork butts layered in brisket juice. All right. Here, the old pork butt. Might get difficult as it gets later in the cook. That's how that all goes. That pork butts is still pretty flimsy. I need some gloves. All right. Everything looks good. Let's what are we running about? Let's give her another hour. Here we go, it's 1 o'clock, I think. Yeah, 1 o'clock. Let's move that top row of that brisket, switch those two around. All right, there we go, color looking really good. getting a little bit smaller. That's a good sign. Pork butts are kind of flimsy. Get over here. There we go. Back around to the front again or not, but I think we got one more rotation to go before we're back to the front again. The pork butts, they're all kind of warm now. I feel a bone popping out a little bit on this one. Not easy to move these things around without seeing them. The difference in temperature from the front to back is pretty dramatic. Piping hot right now. Okay, the wood is on and waiting for it to catch here. One log is, wait for the other one too. But other than that, another hour down. Probably a good 10 hours to go still. We still got, those pork butts are coming along pretty slow right now. Okay, real quick, this is the 3 a.m. check. I've already did the rotation. See the color? I haven't even checked temperatures yet. Got ways to go, guys. But the colors are awesome on all this stuff. So 3 a.m. Brisket's been on since 7:30. So 5.5 plus 3, so yeah, it's at 8.5 already. Pork butt's been on 6.5, so we got a good 4 or 5 more hours to go, 6 maybe. See you at next check. All right, 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's check some temperatures. There they are, a little dry up top here. I might give them another hour in the same spot. We'll see what the temperature's reading here. Not bad, 174. That's really good actually. 175.6. The flats reading. A little tough. Okay, flats behind for sure. 150. Point is 170, probably 7. Point is 150. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move those two around, put the flat on the fire side. Yeah, points get a little crispy there. I'm gonna have to put some foil on that maybe. So we're gonna try to catch those flats up. They're definitely shrinking. Let's get these puppies down here a little farther. Here we go. Get whipping the fire. All right, let's check the butts. Let's get some bone pull back. 150. That one's not as good. 140. 144. 155. So these two are my warmest, the one closest to the fire and the one that was just previously closest to the fire. These two right here are the ones that are behind. So I'll catch them up, move them around. here we go. It's 6:30. Brisket's been on about 11 hours. Pork butts 9 hours. Last time we checked, the flats were a little farther behind the points, so we'll see where they're at now. Alright, let's take a quick temperature. .53, we got a ways to go there. Let's try it here. 160, not bad. Flat. I'm at 160. We're getting close to wrap time. Yeah, we're real close. Park's looking good. Let's take a look at some of these pork butts here. They got a ways to go, but if I get those briskets off soon, that will help them out dramatically. Yeah, I got a little ways to go here. Okay. Let me rotate these real quick. Probably got another, I'm thinking another couple hours on the briskets in here, maybe an hour, and then maybe another 4 hours of those on there. So it's a big haul, a lot of meat. Let's get this switched around here. Okay, 13 hours in the mega cook here. Here's what we're looking at. Thinking those briskets are about ready to come off here soon. I'm gonna give them one more hour on here, then I'm gonna take them off, put them in the oven the rest of the way. Look good. Not a hard part. Rotation down here again. Yeah, these butts look really good. Got great bark. Just moving them kind of a pain. I don't think this, well, I mean, obviously it was designed for this. Big enough to handle it. So big enough to handle it, big enough to be designed to do it. Definitely pushing its max, but the grills actually performed really well overnight. Actually, I couldn't tell a difference other than the meat's going a little slower than it would have been if it was just like one pork butt. But the grill has maintained heat really well, just like it always has. Not even noticing the difference. I expected longer cook times. I'm at 13 hours with the brisket, 11 hours with the pork butts. So we're getting there. Color looks awesome. Check them in about an hour. Okay, I think I'm gonna yank these briskets. Let's just see what the temperature's looking like on them. And they look great. I'm reading 170, 175 in the point, 178 in the flat, 177 in the point, 171 in the flat. I think we're good to move on these. We'll get these off and get those pork butts cooking a little longer. I need to get this one switched around. But yeah, we're getting ready to come off the smoker. Let's good news. The time is, it's probably what, 9:30. So I started this. I started these briskets at 7:30 last night. So I'm at what, 12, 13, 14 hours. 14 hours on a smoker, and they probably still got another hour and a half in the oven. Now the reason why I'm putting them in the oven is I've got the bark I want. There's no reason to wrap them and then put them back on the smoker and then smoke them, because the smoke's not gonna get through the wrap. All I'm doing is heating them at that point. So I get them off the smoker. I could easily go back on, but because I got such a large quantity of meat, I'm not gonna risk it. I need to get those bottom ones done and cooling. My party's at 6, so these things will probably be coming off heat probably around 11:30. So they're gonna sit around for a little while, just staying above 145, which is good for brisket. You definitely want to relax, and longer the better. So we're moving the briskets inside. We're gonna wrap them up in butcher paper. Now what you didn't see was I'd actually put a small jar of beef tallow on the smoker a couple hours ahead of this, just to warm it up. It was tallow I collected from my last brisket smoke. I think I did a video on that. If I did, I'll put it up here above. But for the most part, beef tallow helps keeps the brisket moist. I'm not sure if I didn't use beef tallow how it would taste. I've done it before, but not recently. Since I've started doing this, it seems like my briskets are a lot better. So it's just something going forward I'm always going to do, just because I think it can't hurt. You'll see at the end of this thing the way these things turn out, and they turn out phenomenal. So I smoked the briskets and also the pork butts. I kept the smoker around 225 to 275-ish. I'm not too picky on that. I kind of just stay in the ballpark. You just don't want it to drop real low. Now, also, you know, you don't have to have a smoker. I've said this in other videos. You don't have to have a smoker to do brisket or pork butt. You need an oven, kind of like a pellet grill. You just basically set the timer, or you set the temperature, and you put it in there, and then you get it out when it's done. So you're not going to get the taste of an offset smoker if you do it in the oven. But if you want to try brisket and play it safe, set it for 250 and follow the guidelines in this video, and you'll be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I got an offset smoker for the fact that I have unlimited amount of wood that's totally free to me. So it makes sense for me to have one. If you don't have the woods, or you know, a way to get firewood, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In the oven they go at 250. Okay, here I'm back at the pork butt station, I guess. Got 8 pork butts left here. Briskets are in the oven. They came off right around 170, 175 to 180. I'm getting good pullback, but I need to rethink this here and see how I want to handle this. This guy right here obviously needs to move back. They're still pretty firm. They got a ways to go here. But I am probably gonna, let's just check for temp and see if it's time to wrap these guys. He's coming at 172, 175. He's ready to be wrapped. 178. No, I'm sorry, 168. 175. So these two guys right here need to be wrapped, actually. And they got great bark. You see the top, when I cut that fat earlier in the process, it kind of makes that real crispy up top. Yeah, it's real crispy. See what this guy is. He's at 160. He's still 160. He's at 160. He feels tight. I got one back here. Pork butts everywhere. Forgot about him. Pull him out. See what he looks like. 154. 161 on the back side, so we'll put him here. Put his back side towards the, away from the fire actually. This guy's such a weird looking shape here. Costco, these are all Costco meats. 161, 159. Put that guy back in here. Him hiding back here. See what he comes in at. Yeah, 154. 150. 187. He needs a little bit more work. Ooh, that's soft. 170. 168. You know, I'm gonna wrap him. I remember these ones at the top of them. This one's getting good pullback on the bone. He's probably ready to be wrapped too, I would imagine. I wish I had a little bit more roof in the Yoder. 166. Oh yeah, that's soft. 170. So these four are ready to be wrapped. These ones aren't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap these guys, put them towards. Well, I'll leave those guys there because they need more heat. Let me go get their foil. I'm wrapping these guys in foil that I got from Costco. You can get a humongous economy pack of foil at Costco for a reasonable price. A lot less deal than buying it at the local superstore. But same process as the brisket. The only difference is I'm using foil. I do instead of using beef tallow, I use the vinegar apple. I guess apple vinegar water 50-50 solution to give it some moisture inside the foil. But you know, I just wrap them kind of tight. You know, the tighter the better. But I don't really put a lot of effort into this, and I don't overthink it either. All this is to do is kind of speed up the cooking process. They get kind of stuck around the 170 mark. So when you wrap them in foil, it helps them accelerate the cook, which is, you know, obviously a good thing. So I let those first four go about, I think, an hour and a half on the smoker, wrapped in foil, while I let these other ones catch up. And these things got close to 175, so it was time to wrap them. Same process I did with the first four, nothing special here. The reason why I haven't moved these to the oven, or I'm going to leave them on the smoker, is I just don't have room. I still have the briskets inside the oven, so there's not enough room for 8 pork butts and 2 briskets in an oven. So they'll stay in the smoker, and they'll basically get their heat that way. As soon as the briskets are done, I'll move those into the oven. You can also not wrap these at all if you don't want to. Sometimes they'll dry out, but they'll get phenomenal color, even better color than they got now. I don't normally do that, but it is a possibility just to leave them on the smoker, not wrapped. Okay, let's see where we're at. The briskets just came off. They were in the oven for about 2 hours. So the briskets went 16 hours. They hit 201 and 206. So play it on the safe side. If you don't go high, it's pretty tough still. Here's my pork butts. Have been wrapped for about, most have been wrapped for maybe, those 4 back here have been wrapped for probably 2.5, 3 hours. These been about 2 hours. See where they're at. First one's at 186, 87. Part of the boom. 194, 190, 180, 180, 186, 179, 180. I'm gonna see if I can get these in the oven and let them finish off in there. I'm not sure if I can fit them all or not. That's gonna be the problem. We'll find out. Ouch, they're hot. I wonder why. If you were in a smoker for, what, 16 hours, whatever these things have been in for. Ooh. Done with the smoker. Boy, longest cook of my life. It's started at 7:30 last night, stopped at 1. So I don't know what the math is on that, but it's a long time. So happy with it though. Put these in the oven. Well, it's go time, and I did it. 100 pounds of meat on a Yoder smoker. Can't beat it. Got a couple pork pullers here. It's not normally a job that's hard to get people to do. And then of course the crown jewel of the cook, one of them, is right here. Great looking bark. Flavor second to none too. So the pork butts went 18 hours altogether. They went 2.5 more hours in the oven. The briskets went 17.5 hours. I will have a complete timeline of this entire cook, including how often, what time I checked the meat, what the temperatures were of the meat, and some other details about the cook in general. Also, I'll have in my description all the links to all the products that I used in this video too, in case you need to pick up anything that I used, or maybe I gave you an idea that you can use in the future. That's a win. I'm pretty happy. This thing was a challenge. It was pretty scary knowing that the magnitude of the party and how many people I was going to feed, if I was going to have enough, and if it was going to taste good. It's a win-win-win-win. I feel really good about it all. So if you were one of the lucky people that got to come over and taste a little bit of that, leave me a comment. Let me know how I did. And of course, if you enjoyed it, or if you enjoyed this video, give me a like. I appreciate it. That's a wrap. If you like these types of videos, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Please share with family and friends. And like I always say, I appreciate you spending time with the HomePro Hero.